Hey guys, Blake Hall here. Here today to talk about Kate Bush's The Dreaming. Now this is a kind of album that makes me think of just getting lost in the forest in the middle of the night. This is when there's no way, you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're supposed to go next. One turn there could be something terrifying, another turn there could be something of a paradise even. It's an album that kind of blends those two elements together in such a uniquely phenomenal way. Now, this is Kate Bush fully tapping into her experimental shapes. This is the only album she made where I think she went 100% experimental and retained that the entire album. This is her fourth album in her catalog. First two albums she did, Kick Inside and Lionheart, I'd say those are kind of like her, the more albums of innocence in general, celebration of innocence in a lot of ways. Then we get Never Forever, slight, sound of maturity, but it sounds like it's getting a little bit weirder, getting a little closer to what this album is like. And I feel like it was kind of building up to what this album is. The Dreaming. So again, very surreal, very hazy, kind of like like I said, it kind of blurs between a nightmare and a paradise. It's just, it just feels very dreamlike. Again, I had a night once where I was camping out and I remember listening to this album and I forever have it itched with that memory because it really is the sound of getting lost in the forest. It's the sound of being in the forest in many ways, I think. So anywho, the album starts off with Sat in Your Lap. Love this crazy bonkers of a song. It's a very abrasive opener. And what I think the song is all about is just this pursuit of knowledge and how, you always see people in competition. It's like a person's always trying to, seem smarter than another person. It's like you see this endless battle of just trying to win up each other. And I'm like, okay, that's not really what it's all about. It's really about, maybe kind of trying to come to a universal understanding, something where we can all meet equally. I think that, but the song is trying to represent something of a madness because, it's just like, you're never going to really get that. You're always, no matter what, you're always going to see people just, I'm trying to be smarter than you, trying to be bigger than you. It's like, all right, you may be smarter than me on this topic, but doesn't mean you have to, be a dick about it, kind of thing. I think that's what the whole song is really all about. It's about that kind of just like, okay, just we need to find something a little, something a bit of quality. Some may say it's heaven, some may say it's hell, some may say this, some may say that. Whatever. It's just like sometimes it's not exactly the point to be the smartest in the room. It's not, maybe that's not everything. I love how the song expresses that in like just a maddening way. It's just like you can tell she's just like sick of seeing all this kind of thing, and it's perfect. There Goes a Tenor, second track on the album. I love the lush atmospherics of this song. It's got a real unique sound. It's a song about going on a robbing a bank. What this song makes me think of is like, that feeling when you're young, when you're like sneaking out at night and, and you're doing something you aren't supposed to be doing. But you're getting kind of an adrenaline rush from doing that. And this is a song that really wakes up that kind of feeling, just getting into something of a nighttime adventure, a rendezvous of some sort that might get you into some trouble if you get caught. I love that feeling. It's really a cinematic, it's really a fun song in a lot of ways. I think very haunting in a very subtle kind of way also. My favorite part of the whole song is the very end. There's this little part where she like lets out all these la-las, like kind of along with the melody. I don't know. It just sounds really pleasant. It's a really nice sound. I imagine, she's got this fear of getting caught, but she's kind of like got this sort of awakening out of this whole like situation also. So it's like, it's kind of a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing also. Pull Out the Pin, third track. That's a pretty crazy song. It deals with this person who's out in war. It's kind of like a life-affirming song in a lot of ways. It sounds like a horror song. Through the whole verse, there's like this it sounds kind of like this almost like mechanical kind of soundscapes. And then it like evolves into just this really passionate kind of refrain where she's just screaming at, she's profusing her love for life. I like to imagine she's in a life-death situation, and she's at a point where she's just like, look, I love life, I'm going to be okay, kind of thing. This is a really, really rich atmospherics in this song. Another very haunting moment. You can probably see that for most of these songs, in all honesty. So I'll quit saying that out. I sound like a broken record, but yeah, I love the last little bit of this song wherever like the bass just kind of comes in and it just keeps like slowly reprising the same note over and over again. It's a really surreal, kind of uneasy actually. I don't know what it is. There's something a little uneasy. You have like this really weird instruments kind of going around everywhere. There's a lot of different melodies going on in this song. And honestly, with this song like this, it really just always reminds me. It's like, man, Kate Bush was like just a one of a kind in how she arranged her music. You really felt like you're just in the hands of someone who just really knows how to just take like so many unique instruments and put them together into such a one-of-a-kind soundscape. And our songs always have such an interesting meaning to them. Also, it's just the full package of why I love music so much in the first place. Really, it's awesome. The fourth song, Suspended in Gaffa. This is like the highlight of the whole album. This song's amazing. Something I would call like a paradise of an album. You know, it's about a person who is going mad. You know, like I think of The Shining a lot whenever I hear this album. And I know Kate Bush was also heavily influenced by The Shining when she wrote this album. The reason why that is because, you know, it's like a person who finds something of a paradise within isolation, but then they realize within this paradise that they've isolated themselves from reality. They're actually going crazy. But little do they know that. Makes me think a lot about Jack Torrance's story. Of course, I just did a review on it, so I think that's naturally why I subconsciously wanted to jump to this album right after watching The Shining, actually, because it really makes you think of those similar things, but in a personable kind of way. It's like, it's like, wow, like I think I'm happy from all this isolation, but really, you know, I'm just isolating myself from another angle. I really am, and you know, there's kind of a madness that's really going on with all that too. About a person who wants to have everything, they want it all. It's almost like, you know, they get to a point where they only get what fulfills them. There's going to be a point where they can't get what they want. They're gonna you know, turn into an ape over it. You know, it's just, they're gonna go absolutely crazy. So you know, it's like you got to ground those expectations a little bit. You know, it's just like that. You can't always get what you want, kind of mean. And oh yeah, man, I love this whole song. It really makes me think of just going out into this, like, you know, always just up a garden in the middle of the forest. It's what the soundscape kind of makes me think of. You know, I don't want to get stuck there forever. Also, kind of idea. You know, you got to get lost in the forest again eventually, which will lead us over to track number 5, Leave It Open. I love this song. This is sort of about, I think Kate Bush is reflecting on kind of, you know, she probably had a massive ego kind of thing going on, internal ego. She didn't want to get in the way of anything, you know, sort of thing. But, you know, but she's also about building, you know, confidence and being the strongest being yourself that you can be. I think that's what the song's about. You know, it's about just kind of the madness of that, really. The madness of just being the best version of yourself, but then it may look like you're an egotist, but you're really not trying to be whatsoever. You know, it's literally 100% sincere. You're just trying to do something because you have to do something. You know, I think that this song just has a lot of meaning for that. You know, just, you know, it's like, it's okay to be the best version of yourself. Just don't let it get in the way to where, you know, you come off like you're being holier than that. You know, it's like, come on, you got to find something to keep yourself grounded consistently. So, you know, you can be both. You know, you can. It's all about how you wear it, how you carry it. Really, it's what all it comes down to. So that leads us to track 6, The Dreaming. Oh, the self-titled track, man. This is a crazy one. I love the instrumentation on this song. That's really what the song is all about for me. There's just kind of a horror, slightly of a horror mood going on. You know, I'm going to mispronounce it. Digirlu. That's definitely butchered that, but you know, that's the instrument that's used throughout this song. And it really gives like something of an ethereal touch to it. This might sound really goofy, you know, and I know it sounds absurd, but I played a lot of Paper Mario growing up. I remember this soundtrack also had a lot of soundscapes that remind me a little of this song. So I think it almost hits me in a nostalgic bone just because of that. You know, I think it makes me think of like sort of this, again, like it's like this childlike sense of wonder towards like a horror, you know, like something terrifying. I feel like I'm lost in the forest, and I feel like I'm in that chapter 3 of Paper Mario where I'm lost in the forest. You know, just you can make all these endless turns, and it's always going to end up. You're just going to keep getting more lost the more turns you take. It's a song that just gives me like a musical equivalent of that kind of gut feeling. You know, I love that. Night of the Swallow is a pretty awesome one. This is like a romantic calling. You know, she's got this woman who's got her husband about to go off to war, and she's just kind of like crying about it. It's really, I love the instrumentation. It's a little adventurous. You know, I like how it starts off kind of soft. It almost has like it's like an art pop take on alternative rock a little before alternative rock even existed. It's very soft in the verse, but then it gets something that really builds up into something really heavy during the refrain. Something very passionate and powerful. And I love that about the song. Track 8, All the Love. This is a devastating song. It's a song about just seeing that, you know, there's just so much love out there that needs to be fulfilled, but you know, it's just like no one's listening. You know, and she feels like she has what it takes to, you know, bring some loving to the world, but how do you execute it? You know, who's going to listen? No one. So it's a really devastating song of just. You know, a disappointment of that, really. Just it reminds me a little bit like, you know, the meaning wise, it reminds me a little bit like George Harrison's While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's just that, you know, that yearning, like, you know, come on, there's just so much love and that needs some sweeping. You know, why isn't anyone seeing this? It's like a piano ballad. It's a beautiful, beautiful, sad song. It moves me to tears. I love this song. Then we got Houdini. This is a really cool one. I love the soundscape of this one. You know, it kind of just has like you know, again, a bit of that like kind of soft verse, but then I love it. She starts screaming like a donkey in the verse, and it's awesome. I love how like she's just not afraid to just really sound just like terrifying. Again, this feels like you're seeing some kind of just beast out in the forest. You know, there's some beast lurking out there, and you gotta do your best to lay low from it before it comes out and gets you. I love this song. A little paranoid sounding even. And the last song we have is Get Out of My House. This is a song that was actually directly based off The Shining. You know, when I was watching it last, I was really thinking about this song, you know, especially with all of Wendy's Wendy trying to escape. It makes me think a lot of her perspectives. Imagine what she was seeing whenever, like, she was all anxious, and the hotel overlook started revealing, its true nature, its supernatural nature to her. I love this song. It really, I think, makes me like The Shining. It makes me think of similar themes overall, just like, the dangers of self-isolation. Where it's like you get to a point where you're just going to turn into like a crazy person if anyone gets in your way. It's like, I imagine she's like, and she's in love with this isolation. Kate Bush was a known recluse, so I imagine this was a personal theme for her, of just like, if anyone's going to come to her house, if anyone's going to come by, she's going to turn into some beast and a lion. It's just like, she's gone off the edge. She's gone crazy. So, yeah, that's Kate Bush's The Dreaming. This is just one of the best albums I've ever heard. It's as good as Hounds of Love, in my opinion. Very different types of brilliant, but it's equal, I'd say, in quality and impact, really. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. This came out in 1982. I think that it's kind of nice to see that. It seems like Kate Bush is getting more and more recognition with time, which is awesome, because I've absolutely love her music. It really reminds me of it's just a one of a kind air to it. I think the way she arranged music was very unique. Like, she had a lot of like rock influence, but she also had like a lot of classical, it's just a little everything, really. And she made her own world out of it. And that's what she was all about. Taking all these elements, but you make your own thing. Really, it's very inspiring. For any artistic medium, really. It's an encouragement to be yourself with what you do. There's always like, you can find original ways of being creative, speaking in a universal sense, but just sticking to your own guns and voice while doing so. So yeah, that's Kate Bush's The Dreaming. If you haven't heard it before, highly, highly recommend it. I may suggest chiming into a few of our other stuff first, because this is kind of a weird one, I think, to jump right into. I've met some people who've said this first from Kate Bush, and they're like, what in the world? It's a little abrasive, you could say. It's like, giving someone some Captain Beefheart and diving straight into Trout Mask Replica. It's like, you don't want to do that just yet. I'd probably really start with Hounds of Love. That's the Universal album she made. And then check out Wuthering Heights. That's her other big hit. It's an incredible song. That was off her first album, Kick Inside. But yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. And stay tuned for the next one. Have a good one, guys.